Sorry, I was just in it.
Were you rocking out?
Jamming so hard, just rocking out, rocking everywhere. Just my hair everywhere. Yeah.
Nice. It's good look.
I don't use the hair enough to like whip around. You know.
I don't have enough hair to do it.
I can really like
Although Samantha was complaining this morning that my hair is getting too long.
She's wrong. I think every time I've seen you get it to the max, I think it's been the best hair.
Yeah, and a former colleague of mine who I've been tutoring her daughter all year for biology. I ran into her at the library doing a review session, and my hair was long, and she's like, "Oh my God!" She's like, "Your hair's so long." She's like, "It looks nice," and I'm like, "Nope, it's time to cut it." She's like, "You should keep it." I'm like, "Nope." I was like, "I've heard it from several people, but nope." But then Samantha today is like, "It's getting too long." She's like, "I know I complain when you cut it short, but," she's like, it's too long. And I said, "It is." So
doesn't she like running her fingers through your luxurious hair?
No. So
that
ends that. So
my person does. It's Mike, but she's paid extra that week.
So how are you doing, Eric?
I am fantastic. How you doing?
I am spectacular.
Good job, Rich.
I have to say I've been much better at doing that. So
yeah,
it's weird how it sticks in your head. People will ask me how I'm doing, and my instinct is to say one thing, and then I'll catch myself, and it must come across very weird for people because they'll say it, and I'll be like, I am spectacular. So it comes out almost a little disingenuous, but I'm working on it.
Do you feel better saying it?
It gives me a little chuckle every time I say it.
Right. You feel like a little happier when you say it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's to the point that my whole life living with this last name, I should have. There's so much fun I can have with it. I mean, clearly I've done that in terms of what we do for the foundation and stuff and the play on words there, but that was certainly not intentional. But now I feel like I have to intentionally really kind of dive into this and take it full. I mean, I did as a teacher because I had way too much fun teaching the electromagnetic spectrum.
Right. Yeah.
And on the first day, I would tell them I had great expectations, and I would talk about respect. So yeah, but that was more like my teacher shtick. So not like a real life thing. So now when people ask me how I'm doing, I still catch myself. So maybe eventually it'll just come out natural. That's hard to do. It's hard to do to turn something into a natural thing that.
So because I used to mix it up a little bit, right? People would say, "How you doing?" I would say great or fantastic or terrific or, blah, blah, blah. But ever since I wrote the thing and then made the video of the thing, I feel like I owe it to my identity to say fantastic all the time. It just is, like I've made it part of my identity,
But is it like, I feel like there's a difference between things that you naturally say versus things you've programmed yourself to say.
Yeah, well, I think I naturally was saying, well, I definitely decided I was going to like say the best possible adjective I could think of at the time.
So this makes me think of something. The math teacher on my team when I was back in school, we did a thing. This was probably back like in 2010. And the two of us were same age, and we lamented the fact that no one uses the word mint anymore. And when I was growing up, that was the term, like, "Oh, that's mint."
Right.
Like we used that term way too often, and it was, I think, a totally 80s thing. And we decided we were going to bring mint back. The two of us were going to do it. So, and we were going to model it for our kids and get them to start using it. And it failed spectacularly. Because it just wasn't natural, even though we wanted to and we tried. And then I thought, that's crazy. Like when we were kids, we didn't think anything of it. We just did it. And that word was something that was just used, and then it eventually disappeared. And now that we're trying to actively bring it back, we can't bring it back. Like I have to think about it too much, and it's just not natural. And so the kids aren't picking up on it, and they're not using, so that was our goal. We wanted to bring mint back, and we failed spectacularly.
I still would like to popularize Chum and Preem and Nova. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
This is the slang from Cyberpunk.
Oh, yes.
Tomb is like a friend, like you're my
Yep.
tomb, you know.
Yep.
And Preem and Nova are like cool and awesome. Or like Preem is like if something's like you know, like my iPhone is Preem,
Right,
you know,
right.
like premium, and Nova is like, you know, awesome or cool, you know. And Delta means leave. I want Delta also. Let's Delta, you know. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, see, and that's another example. Like when things are out of context that you don't recognize them.
Right.
So, and then when you give the context, it's like, oh yes, I have to say though, having two young adult children now, well, Abby is an adult technically. There's some terms that they use that I get it, but I don't understand why they use it.
Right.
So Abby was describing something to me the other day, and she was like, "Oh, that's so mid." It's
Mid.
so
I
mid.
knew that's what you're gonna say. I was like, he's gonna say mid. I wanted to get you before he said it.
And I just looked at. I'm like, really? That's just. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal of that. But I guess
I mean, it's no weirder than cool. I mean,
yeah, but mid.
well, I mean, it's just saying something is blasé or average or lame or, you know, whatever. You know.
And then I was trying to think, what did it replace? And I'm thinking, I was like, was that, you know, meh? Ugh,
meh. Yeah. Yeah. It's meh.
So, but now meh, you know, is, and then I tried to, of course, be the, you know, the dad, and I looked at him. I'm like, oh, so it's not on fleek, and they're like, Dad, that's so 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm like,
yeah,
whatever. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just.
So I think for me, mid would replace like fine. Like, how's the movie? It was fine. Like that movie was just fine. You know.
You know, I'm gonna go see The Flash this afternoon, so I will.
I heard it's not mid. I heard it's good.
I've heard that, but I've heard conflicting things now. I've heard that.
No cap. I heard it's quite good.
Well, I'm going to. I will give an honest opinion, and
yeah, I heard it's Preem.
I'll let you know if it's spectacular or not.
Yeah. You know what expression I invented that I've been trying to get to catch on for probably 20 years now. And so far, apparently, it's not working. Blue nose.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Blue nose is that feeling when you're about to sneeze, but then can't, when you don't sneeze, like you're about to, but then don't. That's
oh my God. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And that is a really apt description.
It's perfect, right?
It really is.
It's perfect. And
Eric, I'm going to use it. That is something I will use.
It's ideal. It's the perfect term for that. And
that just happened the other night. I went to go sneeze and I didn't. And Samantha turns to me. She looks at me and she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry," because she just got it.
Right.
And the perfect response is, "Oh my God, blue nose."
Blue nose. It's blue nose.
I've got blue nose.
We've got blue nose. Yeah.
I'm surprised. Now, first of all, I'm surprised that I haven't heard this before, but now I'm surprised that has not caught on, because I'm truly, that is perfection. It really is. Blue nose. I'm going to use it.
I was very proud of myself when I came up with it when I was 20 or whatever. And I've been trying to get people to say it ever since.
Well, you know what? I am going to. I don't think I could use it in my talks, but maybe to adults. But because I do find, you know what's interesting? I find as I've progressed in my speaking, when I speak to adults, I'm much more comfortable now saying things that I wouldn't say to the kids.
Like blue nose?
Right. Or just using words that, you know, any type of salty language that I probably wouldn't use when I'm talking to kids.
You can even use it with kids, because
no,
listen, here's why you say it. Because when they say why blue nose, you're like, because my nose is sad, it's blue because I didn't sneeze. I have a sad nose, it's blue. That's not there's obviously a little more nuance to it, but
maybe you know what? I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
That's legit. You can get away with that.
You can't. Yeah, because when you're feeling down, you're feeling blue, So does my nose. It is.
It's at least a kick save, like you can throw that out there as kind of like when I said BS to my students for the first time and I had to think quick and I'm like, that's bad science.
Bad science. Exactly. It's the exact same thing.
Like we had a meeting yesterday with I was with Samantha and we were meeting with all of Melina's teachers and it was her annual review because she's in special ed and she went up 8 reading levels this year, which I'm so proud of her. So she started second grade. She was at a pre-kindergarten level of reading, which has been her concern all along. Part of the reason she's in special ed. And
what grade is she in?
She's in second.
Okay.
And she ended the year on grade level. Oh. And so typically kids go up, 3 levels that they have these, they level its letters system. It's A through Z, I guess. And she started at a D, which is, again, where a kindergartner should be. Actually, an early kindergartner should be. And but she ended the year at an L, which is right on grade level. And they were commenting that that's kind of like unprecedented that someone would go up that far. And then Samantha said, yeah, but she still tries to get away with it. She'll tell us she can't read something and try to feign not being able to read to get out of things. And my wife's like, but that's BS. And then she said it in front of all these, she felt so bad. And I'm like, that's bad science. So, but yeah, that you could save it with you're feeling down. But yeah, dude, Blue Nose, I'm using it.
Blue Nose. One of my dreams in life is for someone who I haven't told it to use it at me, like to say it to me, like, oh, I got Blue Nose, and I'll know that it's made it full circle, like back to me.
That is fulfilling. I mean, that's kind of the feeling I had when we got one of our kindness cards back. I had someone do it to me randomly. I'm like, holy crap. That is fulfilling because it's
someone
like
gave you a kindness card.
What was that?
Someone gave you a kindness card.
Yeah, one of ours.
That's cool. What was? Is there a story? Do you remember? Like,
yeah, actually, I was at a actually. So this is I should share this story more. I was at the Dunkin' Donuts that I started it all at.
Dunkin' Donuts.
It was the Dunkin' Donuts that we started.
That's cool.
The first kindness card at.
That's
and
cool.
because I went there every morning. I went there every morning before work, and I go to get a coffee, and they're like, "Oh, someone paid for it," and they handed me the card. And I'm like, "Holy crap!" And the thing was, I never posted it. I never shared it with anybody other than my family because I was so excited. It didn't even become part of the calculus to share it with anyone else. And it was one of the ones we give to the kids too. So it wasn't the Respect Life card. It was the Cultivate Kindness seed card that we give to the little kids because we don't want to like traumatize little kids with our stories. So we tell them it's a little seed that they help to grow. So they use that card. So, but it's still one of our cards. And I was just, I couldn't, I'm like, oh my God, I got one of my cards. And Samantha's gotten them too. It's actually happened to Samantha a couple times. So.
Do you remember what happened with Samantha?
She was at a doctor's office and they gave her the card. And I don't know. I mean, they knew who she was. So I'm wondering if that was more directed, although they had the card to give.
Right.
And there was one other. I think it was she was buying a coffee somewhere else, or I may have been in a McDonald's. But it's happened to Samantha a couple times. It's only happened to me the one time. It was just that one time. But that was the coolest feeling. It really. I was like, holy crap! I can't believe it came back to me.
You should make a little like TikTok video about that, or like a little selfie video.
Well, I don't. I mean, but I don't have the. It wasn't the moment. I feel like it's a recreation of it.
Well, no, I don't say it like, hey, or just tell the story. You don't have to like.
I should.
You don't have to pretend.
I mean, I've told it a couple times in talks because sometimes I'll get the question from kids like, "Has it ever come back to you?" And I use that. That's an example that I say, yeah, it was. Ironically, at the very first place that we started it, which wasn't a coincidence, though, as much as the fact that the reason that was the first place we did it is because that's the Dunkin' Donuts I go to every morning, or at least I did before I was going to work every day. So that was my place. And so it made sense that was the first place that I went to when I had the cards. And See, the thing is, as a scientist, I start looking at things way too pragmatically. And when the rest of my family is like, oh my God, that's so cool. What are the odds? I actually was like, they're pretty high. I mean, this is the place where I constantly do it, and it makes sense. This is kind of the epicenter. So if it was, if it happened maybe in California, it would be a much cooler thing and much more random than the place that I started all at. But it still feels cool. So when someone comes back to you with Blue Nose, you'll have known you made it. Because I have to say, that was the day. That was the day that I was like, wow, I kind of did it.
I did it.
So
I can die happy now.
Right, you'll have that moment when someone's like, "Oh, Blue Nose," or you see it on a TV show, or someone completely rips it off and takes credit for it.
It's been my like, how long have I been beating the Blue Nose drum?
A long time.
Long time.
Years and years.
I want to say probably 20 years. I've been trying to get Blue Nose to catch on.
Well, Eric, in your honor, I'm going to try to make sure that anytime it happens for someone, and I'm going to even pass it on to Sam. Next time you feel sorry, Blue Nose.
Blue Nose. And I think you're the first person who's really appreciated how perfect it is.
Oh, it's totally perfect.
It's
dude, I love it. I love it. I'm going to totally use it. I'm on board. Blue Nose.
Blue Nose. It's just the perfect description. It's great.
And honestly, any guy should really, really appreciate it. So
right.
Girls maybe not as much because they just can't. They can't get it. They don't get it.
But
they don't get the thing that statement is tangentially related to. So
they get a variation of it that's not as dramatic, but it's the same. No one's happy. In this scenario, everybody gets the concept.
Yeah,
and everybody gets the you didn't sneeze feeling,
right?
Which is because I've always said that the sneeze is an orgasm of the face. I think that's what started it. This is I've always said that too. So I think these two things connected together to create the Blue Nose idea. But yeah,
there is a great deal of relief after you sneeze, like
and it's involuntary kinda, and there's things that can like trigger it. So there's a whole bunch of things that make me think this. But
sneeze is an organ. Why do I have visions of a meme in the future with your picture saying a sneeze is an orgasm?
Orgasm of the face. Yeah. I wrote a Facebook post once about how crying was similar to having an orgasm. That it's like it's cathartic, and you want to, you don't want to do it alone, but you don't want to do it like with people you don't know either, and you feel drained after after it's over, and it can be tiring, and it can be either happy or sad. And I had this whole list of why crying is similar to having an orgasm, and I said but the difference is between an orgasm and crying is that when you're done crying, it's your face that's wet.
And this is why the child safety source is not for children.
No, it's not. Child is in the name, but it's not the audience. Which this is probably terrible for the show, but whatever.
No, hey,
is what it is. But and fun fact, I wrote that like a day or two before my mom died, and it's because I had the thought because I had been crying, and so which is one of the only the 4 times I've cried in the last 30 years, and yeah, so it's funny that's a thought I have. My mom's passing away, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of like coming, in a lot of ways. But so I'm weird even in these tragic moments. I'm thinking of like these bizarre connections. So
deep thoughts, Eric. Deep
thoughts. Yeah, deep thoughts by Eric Lupton.
Instead of Jack Handy, it's Eric.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Deep thoughts by Eric Lupton.
Yeah.
That should be your next. You know what? You have the crippled CEO. I mean, we do this. I mean, there you go. Deep thoughts by Eric Lupton, and then you start to promote these. I gotta say, I gotta give you credit for it, man. Blue Nose.
Blue Nose.
I'm gonna use it. I'm totally gonna use it. I'm gonna use it with people I know who will appreciate it, and we're gonna get it to catch on. So
yeah,
and we'll start it here. We're gonna start it right here.
My next blog post is gonna be about Blue Nose.
I think it should be. You know what? If
I've
it's
read
not,
them
I'm going to
well.
be disappointed that it wasn't. So,
Next one's about with us.
and yes, and so our viewer will then run with this and maybe pass it on to someone else. So,
That's it.
by the way, I've been watching the Big Bang Theory, going through it because I love that show for obvious reasons.
It's funny. Yeah.
It speaks to me. I remember the first season premiered the year my dad was with me when I was taking care of him with the cancer. So, and I instantaneously fell in love with the show, and I'm laughing at everything. My father's like, "This is not funny," and he joked. He said, "This is a show about your people," and I'm like, "Yes." And my family, every once in a while, just when they want me to shut up, they'll be like, "Okay, Sheldon." So, because I do have a lot of those idiosyncrasies that he has. So,
Right.
I mean, here I am wearing a Flash shirt. Yeah. And that's not just because I'm going to go see the Flash movie, which, again, being the nerd that I am, I make sure that I probably go to see the premiere of everything, which I just saw the Transformers movie last week.
So wait. So when's it coming out? Because how did
The
Michael
Flash-
Dotcher see it?
Wait, what?
So Michael Dotcher in my office here, he told me like 2 days ago. He's like, you gotta go see Flash.
So there were sneak previews. It depended on the cities you were in. There were advanced screenings. I couldn't get in to the one. So, but yes, I think on Tuesday night there was advanced screenings.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I didn't get to see it, but last week there was an advanced screening of the Transformers movie too, and I wanted to go to that, but I was teaching a review course for the New York State regions, the bioregions. So
I thought you didn't because you came to your senses.
no, I'm sorry, and I got my $50 Optimus Prime popcorn bucket.
Now
Did you see that picture on Facebook?
no.
Oh my god! All right, Mike, I'm gonna have to share. Hold on, let me.
So I like me some 90s, late 80s Transformer cartoons, right? I was a fan. It was a thing for me. But the new Michael Bay Transformer movies are garbage.
Okay, so this isn't Michael Bay. And did you see Bumblebee?
I did not see Bumblebee.
So Bumblebee was awesome.
I heard
really
it was.
It
I
was.
heard it was better.
It was. I loved Bumblebee. Oh shoot, where's my?
Isn't this movie Dinobots though? Essentially.
No. This is the. No, this is the Maximals. This is from Beast Wars. The
Even worse.
Which was a spinoff. So the nerds all know it. So where's my picture?
Wasn't the last one was Dinobots though, right? Which now we're just literally going through the toy lines. We got the Beastbots, the Dinobots.
I'm trying to. The last one was the Last Night, which was actually terrible. But
They're all terrible.
well, the first. All right, so I'm going to say this: the first one wasn't bad.
First one wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
The problem with the first one was you couldn't tell what was going on. It was just metal everywhere. Like, the combat or whatever. It was all just. I felt like I was listening to a dubstep concert the whole time. And you can't.
Dude, I would pay just to hear your sound effects like that again.
Yeah, you just can't tell what's happening the whole time. It's just metal.
Can you just do that again?
That. It's just that the whole time.
That's great. Okay, I've got it. All
Okay.
right. All right, Mike. So here we go.
Please,
I'm
Mike.
going to share.
Right.
So, present. Share screen. Don't show my tips again. All right. And I want. Boom.
Please don't show your tips on screen.
Okay. So that is the popcorn bucket that I got.
Okay, well that's cool.
Isn't that
Movie-
sick?
Movie aside, that's cool.
It was. It was worth it. And by the way, yes, it was $50. But first of all, I'm going to tell you, this is the nerd that I am. That the actual trailer part is real metal.
Is it metal? I was gonna ask if it was cardboard. Okay.
No, it's metal. And the wheels are real rubber tires. It's legit. And here's the best part. The cab, I don't have them in yet, but there's 2 straws that go in here, and the cab is where you can actually put your drink. You can actually
Wow.
pour the drink into it and drink the drink out of it. The smokestacks are actually where the straws go.
So where's the popcorn go? In the trailer?
The popcorn goes in the trailer.
Wow. I thought you
So-
could tell me it was going to transform into a bucket.
No, that would have been cool. But and it was $50, and my wife made fun of me because actually she didn't. She didn't make fun of me. She told me that if I didn't buy it, she would have actually been more disappointed. So, but
you got a good one.
and for $50, I did get a large popcorn and a large drink with it. So
Well, I mean, at the movie theater, that probably would cost you $200 easy. So,
Exactly.
you're actually came out ahead.
it was and interestingly enough, the scale of the trailer and the Optimus Prime, the cab, is the same scale as the masterpiece Optimus Prime that I own. So, like I said to my wife, I'm like, I can put my Optimus Prime next to it, and it's the right scale. So it's almost like you have Optimus in his robot mode and his alt mode. And my wife looked at me and she's like, "Because you're not a big enough kid yet." And I'm like, "No, but I mean, as evidence, see, I don't have a cool cam that I can move around. I have to do it manually.
I haven't done it on since the show started.
My Optimus Prime sitting all the way back there next to my giant Bumblebee.
Yeah.
That's exactly the same scale as the cab on the popcorn bucket. So
That's cool.
yeah, it's very cool. And I'm just, ow, I'm a big nerd. So
Well, but no, I think you got a heck of a deal. Last time I got popcorn and a drink at the movie theater, I remember because I had to max out my company's line of credit. So we
Nice.
took out a $650,000 loan and used it for the popcorn. And then I still had to, reach out my wallet for the change. It was like some 75 cents after that.
nice.
Yeah.
Sounds about
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's you got to get a second mortgage in your house to go to the movies these days. It's crazy.
It is expensive, but I mean,
Right.
there's some ways to mitigate the price in that, especially when you go with a big group. I'm on the I have the AMC A list.
I thought you were going to say by putting stuff in a backpack, but
No, you can do that too. For a long time, my movie theater actually just didn't give a crap if you brought food in. Like they didn't enforce it at all. So we used to like at will bring in food. No one said anything. But then they started renovating the theater, and now I guess they actually enforce it. Because I used to come in, I'd have a coffee. They wouldn't give me a hard time. Now they do. So,
it's funny. I'm talking about this. Meanwhile, the only movie theater I go to is the premium, the iPic theater, which is like the bougie theater in Delray, where they got the nice seats and there's a menu and they bring you booze if you want. You can order like an entree and they bring it to you, kind of thing. So I'm talking about how expensive movies are, but part of that might be because I'm going to the expensive one.
I mean, you can go to the matinee. You can like when we go, we get because I'm on the A list, I get the free popcorn refill and drink refill. So I'll bring extra bags and stuff to put the popcorn into and divvy it out between my family and I. And I know plenty of people who do that. So, I mean, there's ways to mitigate the price, but that's besides the point. So, but I'm looking forward to going to the movies this afternoon. So
Yeah, let me know how it is.
and I will let you know how it is. And I will say, Rise of the Beast was an entertaining 2 hours in the movies. It wasn't terrible. And it ended on something that someone like me, there was, you know what? You're not going to appreciate, so I'm going to spoil it.
For everybody else too.
Yes, for our other two viewers. The ending has a little little Easter egg for G.I. Joe fans. So they actually kind of basically hint at a team up between G.I. Joe and the Transformers in the next movie.
That's cool.
And I don't know. I mean, that may be something that would appeal to someone like me who's got, I got my there's my G.I. Joes and then there's the Transformers. So I don't know, maybe something that appeals to someone like me. So
I'm sure you're not alone.
What was that?
I'm sure you're not alone.
No. So, well, being okay, now the camera. This drives me. I don't have the swanky camera like you that I'm sure would adjust perfectly for the. Oh, there it goes.
maybe I'll send you one for your Christmas or something. You know,
Aw, that'd be
when's
sweet.
your birthday?
It just passed.
When,
My
when
birthday's
was
like 3 weeks before yours, or 2 weeks before yours.
it? I'm bad at birthdays. So.
That's okay. I'll forgive you.
I haven't even been using my new technology. I mean, look at this. This is
That it is very cool.
Mike LaShaw.
I don't know, the way it follows you though, it feels like an old 80s infomercial or something. I don't know what it is about that. The way
Hey, it's just a little slow.
and of course it's powered by AI. So
It's
it's
totally
gotta
powered
be
by
good.
that.
Oh, now
No,
I'm too high. See, I need the swanky.
You can never be too high, Rich.
I wouldn't know.
That's not true, actually. You can definitely be too high.
I wouldn't know.
You can tell by my long hair I've been too high before. So, but dang hippie.
Yeah, no.
So just like
See, now my OCD's gonna be because our shoulders aren't lined up. There we go. Now they are. Okay.
just like the list of movies worse than Transformers doesn't exist. Likewise, Rich, why don't you tell us about the list of things that are more dangerous for a child than drowning?
So that list consists of 0, but you wouldn't know if you looked on the internet.
No.
Which I hate to beat this dead horse, and I know that horse is well and truly beaten and well and truly dead. But I, just for kicks and giggles, the other day, I decided, let me look up, because I've talked about it a lot, but let me look up, if I type into Google, what are things most likely to harm my child? What comes up? And so, of course, I'm always interested in what the first thing that pops up in, because according to SEO, then that's going to be something that is resonating the most, and that's what people are clicking on. So I found a list. And I literally typed into Google, things most likely to harm my child. Okay. And the list pops up on Google, and it's from a realtor. I don't know, but this is number 1. And it's got a list, and the list sounds really legit. And if I'm a parent reading this, I'm like, oh, I got to watch out. So I wanted to play a little game with you, though, Eric. I wanted to see if you could guess all of them.
Ooh.
So, and I will give you a little ding, ding, ding for each one you get right. And if you get one wrong, we'll go, eh. So go ahead. Let's see how many Eric gets right.
What's the exact title of the list?
Dangerous child hazards to avoid, kids safety tips.
Okay. Furniture.
And the subtitle is protecting your toddler.
Okay. Furniture falling on kids.
Yep. Ding, 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 ding. And they also they include doors and furniture. So hold on, I'm gonna read each one. When you get them right, I'm gonna read them.
Okay.
So it says here, believe it or not, doors can be dangerous home hazards. Toddlers can get their fingers entrapped in door hinges. Oh no!
Oh, that's a separate issue.
That's terrible.
Fingers and doors is a different thing than like a dresser falling on your kid.
Right. Well, hold on, but they hold on. Because notice the title of this was doors and furniture.
So they lump those together. That's a weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
If possible, keep the door fully open or fully closed and locked. By keeping the door fully open, you will prevent the child from playing with the hazard in the first place. That's sage advice. Having the door closed and locked will keep the child from trying to open the door, entering the room in which they're not allowed to go into. Good thing they let me know that. I wouldn't have known the efficacy of a lock had they not pointed that out. Big item, and then this is the next sentence in the same paragraph, by the way. Big items such as furniture and appliances can easily tip over if not well grounded. Of course, I'm going to take that since another one of them right before it, you'd think grounded meant something else. But children might also want to stand and hold on to chairs, tables, televisions, other items that can tip over and fall on them. Plus, remember to also baby-proof sharp corners.
So these are all separate things I was going to say.
Yeah. So, but that's why. So yes, I gave you ding, ding, ding. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So next one.
By the way, that the furniture falling on kids, besides drowning, is the largest in-home threat. FYI.
Yes.
So we already got sharp corners. That's done. I think fingers and door jams is done. Electrical outlets, plugs.
Yep. Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
Yeah.
So, by the way, they go off on this one, and it's all about like how dangerous these electrical outlets are, and like basically they're going to kill your kid.
Yep.
So, cover
think,
them and make sure you do everything to protect your child from these dangerous electrical outlets because your kid's going to die from it.
One kid a year dies from that, maybe. You know what? I don't know why I said that. I could be totally wrong. It may be a real problem, and sorry, I take that back.
But it's, again, Eric, guess what? It's not equivalent to drowning.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, so you're 2 for 2.
Stairs. Kids falling downstairs.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
Yeah.
This one they lump stairs and windows together.
Okay.
So kids falling out of a window, which honestly, I've always wanted, like, a lot of these, and I guess this is ignorance too. I sometimes wonder, like, how the hell does that happen? But just the other day, Melina's bed is next to her window, and I was out taking the clips for the Christmas lights off of my roof because I wasn't happy that the clips were still up there. So I went out onto the roof, and I go out through her window, and I took the screen off, and I forgot to put it back in. So I heard the girls giggling the other night, and I'm like, what's going on? And they were laughing because the stuffed animals that were on Melina's bed, when she went to go open the window, she pushed a couple out the window, and they fell off the roof onto the lawn. And it hit me. I'm like, oh my God, that could have been you.
Right.
And I never thought of it until that moment. Like, that's a problem. And the screen there, obviously it's a barrier for a stuffed animal, but it wouldn't be for the kids. And if they were fooling around on the bed, like, so I had to talk with Melina, like, that you need to be careful there. So yeah, it's a threat. It's definitely something to consider. But yeah, so stairs and windows. And again, a big paragraph about that one. All right, you are not to put any pressure on you, but you're 3 for 3.
How many of these are there?
So I'm gonna. All right, so here's their list. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
Okay.
Kitchen chemicals, like kids getting in cabinets and accessing chemicals under the sink and whatnot.
Ding, 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 ding. 4 for 4.
Yeah. Also, like toilets, even though that should be drowning, but I bet like that's not okay.
No toilets.
Let's see. What else do we got in there?
I don't know if you can hear, but I've
Your
got
dog
one behind me scratching at my door.
Is animals a thing? Dogs or
Yes, pets.
pets? Okay.
Yep. Playful pets, but that you can push a pet to a breaking point and they can, attack.
Oh, if they're going into stuff like that, then there's probably something about poisonous plants.
Yes, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Okay. So I wouldn't. For some reason, I wouldn't have thought the poisonous plants if you hadn't mentioned the dog. I don't know why those go together. Let's do choking hazards, stuff that kids can choke on.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's got to be the whole list, right?
You have one more. One more.
One more. It's like I'm a child safety expert, by the way. This is impressive.
Da, na, 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 na. You want me to tell you?
You got ideas, Mike?
What about food allergies?
You know what? I'm going to give it to you. It's not this is linked into it. It's one of the subtexts of this, but it's health hazards. So it's exposure to pathogens and
well, that's silly.
So, which, by the way, I always used to tell my students, because immunity is something that you acquire in your life.
Right.
I used to joke that when all the parents are trying to protect their kids from all the germs, I would encourage my kids to be exposed to them because that's how you develop an immunity. I'm like, that Subway Royale, I'd have my daughter lick it. You kidding me? So I find it interesting that they put on there. So there's your list. Now it looks very professional. It's very like, oh yeah, oh my God, these are the things I need to keep in mind. And you know what's not mentioned at all anywhere at all on the list? Drowning.
Pool drowning. Yeah.
Yep.
Not even like kids in buckets drowning.
Nothing. There is literally nothing about drowning or water and water safety anywhere to be found on this list.
Because you think, okay, you're not thinking outside, but like toilet locks are a big thing.
Oh, Blue Nose! It just happened.
Who knows? I'm sorry.
It just happened. I was just going to sneeze and it just disappeared. Oh,
Yeah.
man, you can't make this stuff up.
No.
That is quality right there, Eric.
Who knows?
Oh, man, I've got a terrible case of Blue Nose.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, man. That sucks.
It's really unfortunate, right?
Oh my God, was that like, did I self-manifest that?
I don't know, but charge your crystals because you never know.
Holy cow. There you go, Blue Nose.
Who knows?
Universe is speaking, see? What you and I are talking about is prescient and it's important, and here you go. And this is why the internet is so screwed up.
You just want to let your dog in. He sounds, or she sounds really unhappy.
Is it bothering you?
No, but I feel like it's bothering her though.
She's annoying, but I'm gonna, if I let her in, then she's gonna get into stuff in my office, and
Okay.
it'll be bad.
But yeah, no drowning.
No, not even no drowning. There is no mention of any form of water safety whatsoever. Nothing.
Yeah, no, nothing.
And so then I actually went further down the rabbit hole and I started looking at other choices, and it took to like the fourth thing on the list where it even mentions water safety.
Wow.
So the top 5 things that I find on Google don't even mention drowning or water safety as an issue at all.
It's crazy.
And to me, like, I just want to shake my head because not only should it be on the list, but it's actually number 1 and you're leaving out number 1.
Right.
And again, I wonder why does that happen? And I think it still comes down to, although a lot of these though, I have to say, like, a bunch of these are things that parental attention would help fix too, like electrical outlets, right? If you don't cover the outlets, if you're keeping your eye on your kids, they're not sticking their fingers in light sockets, right?
Right.
But I have to say, now I have an interesting thought experiment. Does the parent whose child dies from being electrocuted by an electrical outlet get the same ostracization as a parent who wasn't watching their kid who drowned?
Probably.
I don't think so. Nope.
Because it feels more like quick or like
Come to Zunino.
random.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. Of course, it's completely anecdotal. I don't have an answer, but I don't think they would. I think this still comes back to our societal kind of mass ignorance and false belief as to what stops drowning. So, and this is my problem is that there's a video of you speaking, talking about water safety, and you mentioned that parental attention or adult supervision is the most important. You actually say that. And I remember watching the video going, like, not because it wasn't true, but because, my God, I think that still reinforces the idea that that's all you need. And I don't know why that's the case when it comes to drowning, that just watching your kid is all it takes.
So I think what I typically say, maybe I didn't say it there, is that parent supervision is, the most foolproof. I mean, if you are watching your kid, then they're probably not going to drown, right?
Right.
But I typically follow that up by saying that parent supervision can and does fail. That
yes, and so I think, I don't know, maybe it's like the attention span thing of people, that we hear certain things, and I always find it interesting with people who are against paying taxes because they heard that the rebels and our revolutionaries, their statement was no taxation without representation, and I think it just got shortened to no taxation. I feel like that something similar happens here where people are just like, oh, supervision. Oh, that's all I need to do. If I'm watching my kids, then nothing happens. And it's so much easier if you're anytime something happens, especially tragedy, people the universal question is why? And simple answers make people feel better. So why did this kid drown? Parents weren't watching them. End of story. Boom. Case closed. Move on. And then you wonder, and then you see lists like this, and that list doesn't include drowning at all. And I think that's all part and parcel of the same problem, that we just don't identify it as an issue because we think we know the cause completely. So why even mention it? Oh, if you're watching your kids, it's not even an issue. These are things you got to worry about even when you are watching your kids or something like that. So it's like, why is it that drowning gets its own special category of being ignored? And I still don't get it. And I still don't get if you make a comment about something that can help prevent drowning, that you're being, that it's unwarranted or unwanted. I see we're partnered with a couple landscaping companies now. And I made a point of pointing out to them that I love your videos when you show the pools, but how come you never, ever have fencing around the pools? And I know the answer because they feel it doesn't look, it takes away. But that's the problem. If are aesthetics here and the life of a kid here? No, but
it's a combination. It's a combination of the aesthetics, but also the lack of, they're just not ubiquitous, right? So there's that too. Yeah.
So do we get to a point where it, you have that critical mass where it's like, oh, it has to be there. But again, I could say this to your industry. I can say it to the swim school industry. We're not at that point yet. And you would think that you would want to be at that point. You would think you would want to do everything to get people to that point, right?
We get asked by, because we're doing franchises now. We've got people who are applying to us to get the opportunity to possibly be a Lifesaver franchisee and be awarded a franchise. And one of the questions we get from people is, what happens when you run out of pools? and I was like, it's not happening. Like, we're not even close. Like, 35 years in, hundreds of thousands of pool fences installed. We're still, not even most people haven't even heard of pool fence, let alone, running out of pools to put a fence around. So, and even if we were, they're built and new decks get installed and there's new things happening all the time. So that's not an issue. But yeah, most people haven't even heard of a pool fence, let alone getting close to or having trouble finding a pool without a pool fence around it.
Well, Eric, I know this isn't something that you're going to find surprising, but when I this time of year I'm doing the water safety presentations almost exclusively, and so I've done a bunch of them this past 2 weeks, and just yesterday I was at a school in a very wealthy area that I guarantee you almost every house has a pool behind it, and I asked the kids, how many of you have pools in your backyards? And they all raised their hands. Almost every single one of them raised their hands. I said, keep your hands up if you have a dedicated pool fence around your pool. And about 7 of the kids kept their hands up. And I just, and I tell them, I say, guys, this is the way it's, and of course in our video, in our water safety video, there is the pool fence around it. And you'll notice, I don't know if you remember, but when we first were doing it, I had the wrong fence. And you had pointed out, like, you have to change that fence. So in our video, it's as much of a mesh fence as you can represent in an animated thing. But I point out to the kids, this is what should be around your pools.
Yep.
And it's not.
Yep.
So, but I saw, and I look at the adults too. And I say, guys, if you have pools, which you're very likely to have, you don't have this around. I asked you the question, why? And I do try to make them feel a little guilty about it, because they know where it's coming from, right? But I can guarantee you that those parents in the back of their head are like, yeah, but I watch my kids. I'm like you, right? Like, I guarantee you that at least some of them have had that thought in their head. Like, well, yeah, but I keep my eye on my kids, so I don't need it. So that's why when I speak to tomorrow morning, I have a conference call with the New York State Water Safety Coalition, who just got the bill passed through the New York State Assembly.
That's so cool.
So I have a conference call with all of them to talk about the legislation and where we want things to go. And that's going to be the talk. The point again is we need to get to a point where we're creating a generation of kids who think, this is second nature to them, is understanding what you need to be safe in and around the water. And I will use my new favorite quote that I came up with, that generational change does not take generations. So let's get it done now. Let's get started. And we'll, within a decade, I think we'll start to see differences if we get word out. So, and I know you guys get it. Investing into the actual drowning prevention, not just what you do, but the entire aspect of drowning prevention. I just wish other places would get as involved.
When I go to the Instagram page of a pool fence company or a pool cover company, or something like this, and I scroll through, and it's just an endless stream of pool fence photos. I'm like, they don't get it.
Right.
You're not doing it. I mean, somewhat, yeah. You're just following, that's what you do, right? That makes sense. You're gonna see it's gonna be in there, but it should be mixed in with other, water safety educational content because that's what's gonna, move the needle long term, right?
And I think pool companies, I know from my own experience dealing with the pool companies, a lot of them don't want to deal with drowning prevention because they're like, oh, we don't want to tell, it's like, the tobacco industry talking about preventing lung cancer. And I'm just like, well, wait a second. Here's the thing. You're the ones putting the pools into their yards. I don't think that creating a population that is educated about the dangers of it and how to prevent it is going to prevent people from putting pools. In fact, honestly, I think the opposite will happen is that when there's enough education out there, people know how to protect it. They're more likely to get a pool because they know they can actually protect their family from it. And it's been a tough nut to crack, but I think I'm super excited about where we're going in New York State. The fact that we got the video done and now next step, getting compulsory water safety education.
And maybe the tide is changing. I can't give out too much specifics yet, but a national pool service company brand who, they clean and service pools, reached out to me to schedule a meeting to talk about some kind of collaboration,
that would be great.
Which I think is really cool. And have you seen the work of Lauren the Mortician?
No.
Lauren the Mortician is a mortician, and she's become like a water safety advocate. It started with her speaking out against those. It's a video that kind of went viral of people using like a playpen in the pool to like feed your kid. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And she came out and she's like, no, don't do this. And then there's another video of like a similar kind of thing. And all the comments were like, oh, where's that mortician lady? And so she like, she's like, you summoned me, I'm here again. Like, no, this is a terrible idea. And then she reached out to us actually, which is funny because I had seen her content. Like I was aware of her. And she contacted us because she needs a pool fence. So we're gonna help her with her pool fence. So it's I don't know. When I see people who aren't kind of in the universe, or maybe like adjacent to it, chiming in, I feel like that's a good sign.
That is a good sign. It gives me some hope. But I, being the liberal little socialist that I am,
how dare you?
I know, right? I see government as the appropriate venue to really make a change. And if we have to legislate it, we will. And if I have to deal with people like Jason from last week who wrote me that nasty letter, I will. So, and the funny thing is that I'm not even a part of the lobbying because I can't be, because the foundation, we're 501c3, we can't lobby. So I can't I can only be tangentially related to it. So I can speak to the legislature like I will tomorrow. I can speak on the issue as far as my experience, but I can't lobby or anything like that. That's what the coalition does, and that's why I'm kind of tangentially related with them, because if we're directly related, I can't do it as a 501c3. So I find it interesting that I'm the one who got the vitriol, like I passed this law, whereas I didn't. I'm just I'm supporting it. I believe in it, but I'm not the one who's there, greasing the politicians. That's somebody else's purview. That's not mine.
Yeah.
I just know from experience how we go about fixing this. And again, I know I beat this dead horse every week, but it just it's so frustrating. So I think this is the way to go. And
I'm with you.
And I had someone reach out. I'm not gonna say who it was, but I had someone reach out to me last night about getting similar legislation done in Arizona. And I told them exactly what was done here, how we've gone about it. But what I didn't say to the person, I almost felt like I should, that place you can get it done. And California is a place you can get it done. But I'm based on my experience just from that letter, I think red states are going to be a tougher nut to crack because they feel like I have the right to not protect my kid if I don't want it. Like, not that should be, I don't know. So, but.
Well, I think pro-life people should be all on board with saving lives.
Right. Yeah.
Anywho. All right. Well, great job, Rich, as always.
No, thank you.
Are you ever going to join us with Jeopardy ever again?
I feel like you guys don't need me.
Ooh, we need you, Rich.
Is the streak still going?
Yeah.
How many is it now?
This will be 57 today, I think.
I can't join today because I'm going to see the Flash. But I you know what? I will join up and I'll surprise you. And it's like I tell my mom, if I called you every day, it wouldn't be special. So if I joined every time, it wouldn't be special.
Yeah, I don't know if we need you, Rich, but I need you.
Oh, thanks, Eric. Well, likewise. We didn't do a science fact.
What's your science fact?
Well, we've been talking about water, so I don't think I've ever shared this science fact. Do you know that water's special? Often referred to as the key to life.
Yeah, allegedly. I don't drink any, but that's what I hear.
First thing to look for is water. But did you know that water is the only substance that exists in all three phases simultaneously on the planet?
Wow.
So it's the only substance that you can find in one location in both the liquid, solid, and gaseous form.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And honestly, that is part of the reason, and I won't get into it, as to how life is able to exist, is that water can do this. But water's pretty special. But it can kill you. So you need to respect it.
So I don't drink it.
Well, you drink milk, which is mostly
water and milk. Yeah, there's water in there.
We've already been down that rabbit hole, so
we're going to come back with a really milk update in a future episode.
Job interview starts in 2 minutes.
Oh, I have a job interview in 2 minutes.
Oh, nice. Well, go interview.
I'm not interviewing for a job, but
On your calendar,
I've never been to a job interview.
Starts in 2 minutes.
Really?
I've never interviewed for a job.
I've interviewed for 3 jobs in my life, and I got all 3.
I would love to. I think I'd kill it. Yeah, I think I'd do it. I think that'd be a great interview. So
yep, I interviewed for 3 jobs. I got all 3.
I should apply for jobs just to do it.
That would be cool if you did it like undercover.
Yeah, I bet I can't get a job.
Eric, you should like go apply for a job at like a construction company.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Construct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to one of the companies building skyscrapers. Be like, that's what I want to do.
This is my dream.
My mom told me anything I want to do, I can do.
Actually, she said you're not going to be a roofer, so you better find somebody who's smart. She literally told me that. Yeah, you're not going to be a roofer,
Hey,
so you better.
You know what, Eric? I think, damn, man, this should be a video of like you doing roofing. Like, let's make it happen.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm gonna. That'd be internet gold.
I should make a video series of me trying to get a job somewhere.
That'd be funny.
Any
Dude,
job.
I would sign up for that.
I bet I could get a job as like a low level marketing person somewhere, maybe. I don't know.
It would be like Undercover Boss in reverse.
Right? Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like,
I
I'm gonna
mean-
go apply for jobs. No, I'm already the president of a company, but they don't need to know that. I'm gonna go apply for. Let's see if I'm qualified.
No, I put that on the resume.
What?
The President Lifesaver, 1991 to or 2003 to
Oh, that
20.
absolutely. You would have to put it, and I bet you they just overlook it. Like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. And what are
Yep.
you here for? Best Buy customer service. All right.
And then you'll be Al Pacino in The Devil's Advocate. They'll never see you coming.
I never see you coming. Yeah.
That's right. All right, my friend. You have there's an interview, although it's not your interview, but I'm gonna
Yep.
let you go.
Well, thank you, sir.
And
And,
I will join for Jeopardy eventually, but it won't be today.
all right, you'll be there when we need you. Like
I
like
will.
like
If,
Saran.
if you right, you calling me and I will be there.
I'll put the bat signal up and
right.
they'll show up.
That would be awesome.
All right. Well,
right.
thank you so much. And we'll see you guys. We'll do this next Thursday. We'll do it again.
I should be, yeah. Oh, I'll definitely. My in-laws and my mom will be here, so
Wow.
I can guarantee you I'm going to find a couple hours to get away into a room by myself.
Nice.
That was so bad. That came out really worse than it should have been. But
He's a really nice guy.
oh, he's not coming actually.
Oh,
It's just my mom. So, and my in-laws, and I love my in-laws. My father-in-law is a really nice guy.
yeah, but that's funny that I won't be there because usually when your mom comes, I'm around.
I don't.
You're funny.
Oh,
You're funny.
Yeah. Anywho, well, take care, Rich, and we will do this again next week. 3 weeks in a row. Look at us go.
I know, right? We're back on a streak, so that's good.
I love it.
All right. Have a great week, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later, man.
All right. Bye.